race one. So, yeah, all things considered, we're doing okay behind James in the start of this one. See if we can work together, try and get ahead of a few of these Chevrolets. Have fun. Thanks for joining me.
Have fun too, Huffy, and actually that's a really valid point, isn't it, Andy? Because we know, wind tunnels tells us, experience tells us, 2 cars working together are quicker than 1 on their own, and they are, you know, they're in a perfect position. 2 teammates know each other, trust each other to buddy up and try and tow themselves up to the cars in front.
Absolutely, you've got 2 engines pushing 1 car basically, so yeah, it does cause a huge you know, increase in speed, but also what's nice is you can actually use the other car to, if you wanted to, if you are overtaken, to slow them down by just playing with their slipstream and putting your front wheel by their back wheel, and you can slow them down. It's a massive effect. And, you know, touring car racing is awesome for that type of racecraft, and Monza and places like that is just so much fun. Gabrielli was always the master at managing to slow you down on the straight and slipping past.
So, getting ready for the start of round 10 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. On the right on your screen, Gabriele Tarquini, the poleman, another Honda, Norbert Mikelic, the red and black Mole Group car on the outside front row. Then the 2 Hondas behind of Mehdi Benani and Tiago Montero. Our race 1 winner, Ivar Muller, starts 10th. The green flag waves. We are ready to go. Round 10 here in Salzburg in Austria. Clutches at biting point, handbrakes on, and away we go. Quick start from Tarquini, little slow away from Mikelic and from Benani, and that's going to box in Tiago Montero. They're going to go 3 wide behind, but Tarquini has done what he needed to do, get away at the start. Oh, and on the grass is Muller, has a big moment there, and
yeah, there you go. Big shunt. Big shunt.
Thompson off.
Both cars gone, and Ivan's been hit as well.
And Kopslowski as well, and Ivan is in trouble, and Ivan is crabbing, so his car is wrecked, so is Huff's, and so is Thompson. It will be a safety car and a red flag, very likely. Right
rear's gone, Ivan's taken a clout, and yeah, that's a real shame for Ivan.
Ivan under pressure.
What did I tell you? For a second race is always warfare, and you know, I haven't been here for a while, but nothing's changed, and I love that. You know, it's great to see, but that's a shame for Ivan because he's had a really strong weekend, and obviously we've lost both Ladas, but you know, pleased to see them. You know, that's not a substantial amount of damage, and Tomo's getting out of the car, which is great to see.
Well, the good news is that for only the 2nd time this season, there is in fact a 10-day break before we start again. But then we've got to get to Moscow, so in fact it's almost all travel. So 2 wrecked Ladas as we finish up in Sunday in Austria. They've got to be on track a week from Wednesday in Moscow. It's nearly a week to get there in the trucks. So suddenly Lada looking down the barrel for their home race with only 1 serviceable car.
Yeah, and you know, I remember last year in DTM getting to Moscow is a big old trip, but it's a great circuit, and you know, here we go, we've got a replay. Let's see what happened. I think
so Muller's on the left-hand side of your screen. Coronel comes out around a slow-starting Morbidelli, Chilton in front of him, and Muller comes right across the track on your right. Look at the grey nose, ignore those in front. Muller edged out onto the dirt by Lopez, comes back on. Oh, and in fact, it was contact behind, not involving Muller, that took out the 2 Ladas. So where did that come from?
No, I think Ivan went on the grass, came back in, clipped somebody. Watch Ivan on the left.
No, watch the Ladas. Watch the Ladas in the centre.
Oh, no, you know, Ivan came back on and he nudged one of the Ladas, and then he wiped out Jimmy on the right.
So this is Huffy's car. So this, I think, is going to show us exactly what we need to see. Dusan Borkovic gets away okay. Rob Huff gets a really good start. Now, there goes Lopez on the right. Muller's on the left. And where's Muller coming back in? He's on the dirt now.
There you go. He was touched
Huff
by...
gets clattered by Tomo, who in turn is either twitching to avoid Muller twitching back on, or gets hit by Muller. So Huff was on the outside. Here's Tomo's on board.
Yeah, I think both the Ladas were innocent bystanders. I think Ivan's come back. It's just nudged the, you know, Tomo here, who's gone into, here we go.
Great start from Tomo, electrifying off the line. There's Muller in front on the left.
He's got squeezed by Lopez, who's, touched. Oh, yeah.
In fact, Tomo twitched to avoid Ivan coming back on and clattered into Rob and then got hit by Ivan.
You know, interestingly, I think Ivan was squeezed by Lopez there. Yeah, he was squeezed out by Lopez, and that's caused the shunt.
It's a narrow old track. You know, you talked about that yesterday, Andy, when you came here, that you'd never raced here, but it is old-fashioned. It is like Brands Hatch and some of the other tracks, in that everything is very close when, you know, you go off track, you're in the scenery.
Yeah, I mean, that's game over now, obviously.
Chilton's out as well. Didn't see that his car got wrecked. Look, that's a bit of the flat floor of the car.
So something else has happened here with Chilton.
Oh, my goodness. And that is the rear wheel. Entire rear corner has come off Tom's car.
So he's obviously had a knock on the start. And it's all come. I've never seen that before, actually.
My Lord.
That was big. Oh, we've got a red flag. Now, that's going to be good news for Ivan.
It's a first lap, and so the race effectively... There's two ways of slicing this. Either the race never started, or what happens here, as you can see, the race is suspended, so the race has started, and Ivan is 2 laps down. So it doesn't matter if they fix it. Frankly, it's a bit immaterial, because he will not be competitive. Dusan Borkovic off as well. Well, Dusan Borkovic from Serbia, last year in the European Touring Car Championship, this year the first year in the World Touring Car Championship. He is the bad luck magnet in the paddock. All right, he's very tall. It's easy for bad luck to see him, but boy, he has had such a wretched season of misfortunes. He's got caught up in just about every accident there was going.
But you know what, Martin, I did tell you this was going to happen, because the guys have just followed for 15 laps in race 1. They know it's all got to happen before turn 1. So, you know, you just ended up with that huge funneling of cars and everybody not giving up a single inch of track, and wiped out 4 or 5 cars just in one foul swoop.
Now, what do we know about Citroën? We know, first of all, those boys are rally mechanics. Rally mechanics are used to turning a ball of scrap into a serviceable rally car in 12 minutes in mud, covered in dirt and rain. So they know what they're doing. There you can see our race director, the tall figure of Miroslav Bartos in the white shirt, organising everybody. They will be lined up on the grid for a restart in the positions in which they were at the red flag.
I don't understand, Martin, because they red flagged it off the line. No. They didn't even do a lap, did they?
It was safety card. They have already completed 2 laps.
Okay.
So it is suspended, not a fresh restart. Well, Thiago eventually made it through. This is looking back from leader Gabrielli, and Thiago got a very good start as well. Did he get in front of Norman? Look at that. If you're a Honda owner, you'd say, no! 3 into 1 is never going to happen. How did they all get through?
Well, you know, you find your way, don't you? You see things open up, and you've got to be quite instinctive and react in the moment there. But you know, that chicane is quite a funneling of cars. So I don't know what happened to Tom. He must have taken a clip somewhere on the right rear somewhere, by low, maybe.
Just gone by him on the right, but I think it was probably in the funneling at the chicane. Maybe he got tagged by a spinning larder. Now that wouldn't surprise me. Lopez all the way around the outside. No contact from his camera with Muller.
Very clear through there.
Of course, Muller had already gone off, and the accidents all happened behind us by that stage. Slow getaway from Lopez, though. Loeb got by him. Muller tried to get by him.
Muller on the dirt.
Thompson twitches. Platters huff.
Maybe Tom's been caught up in all that mess.
All behind, and Chilton's still there. Borkovic was behind him. Okay, look for Borkovic on the right-hand side of your picture, just in front of the larders. As we go into the first chicane, does he make contact with the right rear of Chilton's car, I wonder, in the chicane? Because Borkovic is out as well at the first chicane. Yeah,
there's going to be some mess there to clear up. This is going to be quite a delay.
Now, the other thing that Citroën have done is they have built this car to be serviceable, because they know that this sort of stuff happens. So when they're making a suspension change, Andy, instead of changing the spring, they take the whole tower out and put a new strut in with the right spring on it. They also spent at least a full day on a racetrack with 2 of their cars in pre-production mode, driving around and crashing into each other to find out what broke.
What the weaknesses are.
Well, let's get down and hear from our Larder drivers, Huff and Thompson. They are both fine.
I'm going to jump into the middle of these 2 Larder drivers. Firstly, Rob, a good start from you, like you have the last few races, but it put you in a difficult position.
Yeah, both James and I got really good starts, and we were matching each other. He was on the left side, I was on the right. And then something kicked off in the middle, and I mean, it all happened so quick, but all I know is we've put 2 very big holes in the barriers down there. James especially put a very big hole in one, and both the cars are pretty much teetotaled. So we're all right, that's the main thing, we're all right. We live to fight another day. But yeah, both of us got really good starts, and unfortunately, you know, lost the luck a bit further down the straight.
Yeah, switching to James. James, again, also a very, very good start, and it looked like your car went through the barrier.
Yeah, I felt pretty strongly, and yeah, it took a lot of the barrier with it, to be fair. But yeah, I think we went ping-ponged across the circuit from left to right and wherever. So yeah, just pleased to be in one piece. Sorry, it's disappointing for the boys. But like I said, we had a good start, and even though our car's not fast, you know, it's nice to compete for the first lap or so. But yeah, it was a shame. I think Ivan was put on the grass, and then as he came back across, took me with him and took me out. So, but yeah, it's the furthest up the grid have been all year. So we'll take one positive from it.
Thanks so much, James.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you, Ben Costenduros. Thanks, Rob Huff and James Thompson. But the real drama now is how close we are to Moscow. You know, it's going to take them a week to get there, and somehow they've got to build those cars. And these Lada boys have worked their socks off to get their cars ready for the beginning of the season. I think they were perhaps the last of the manufacturers to have their cars ready. They were actually completed. Huff has got the car that they use for testing, but Thompson and Kozlowski's cars were completed in Marrakesh. So there's Yves Maton, the boss of Citroën Racing. They have got things under control with Ivan Muller's car, and a bit less damage for them to sort out there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what's going on through Ivan's mind now. I'm sure he was taken off by the Lopez teammate, and you know, he won't be happy about that. He was squeezed, but it is very difficult, Martin, on the start to see everybody around you. You've got cars all around you. Your vision, peripheral vision, is being pushed to the max, and you know, it's sometimes impossible to calculate everything. So it's a racing incident. It wasn't intentional, but unfortunately, look at the dent in the barrier there. I wonder what they're going to do now.
Well, that is the worry, is that it's already taken the blow and it has absorbed the energy, and there's nowhere for it to go again. Now, should somebody else go into that bit of barrier, they will have to absorb a lot more of the energy. So that's going to be worrying, and that's something that Mirek is going to look at. It may be that a couple of belted tyre stacks can go in there and will do a suitable job. But it's always in these situations the barrier that is the worry, because that is the ultimate protector for the drivers and also, of course, for the fans and for everybody else working around the track. Oh, horrible stuff for Lada. I'm watching Tom Chilton's car right behind Sebastian Loeb, number 9. Chilton, I'm watching him. There's no contact there. As we get into the chicane, is it the red, white, and blue car of Dusan Borkovic? You can just see him. Looks like he's trying to start turning inside. Again, I don't want to accuse anybody or parcel any blame there. Maybe we'll catch up with Tom when he comes back in. You want to see the coverage? Come on, boys, sing for us. See Rob's mum there beside him. His dad here as well. Girlfriend, wife, Jazzy, and his sister as well.
Jimmy's had some big shunts in his time, I can tell you. He's had a very nasty accident at Knock Hill in BTCC, which put him in hospital for a long time. But obviously, safety here is good. And, you know, the car's absorbed that very, very well. It's nice to see that both drivers have walked away. And now they've got bragging rights about who had the biggest shunt in the pub tonight.
Well, it's always strange, isn't it? When you've been in an incident like this, you want to know where it came from, how it happened, what triggered it. And Rob's camera view here isn't going to show us. It's going to show us what the aftermath felt like. And there goes Jimmy. The second impact on Jimmy's car was really a head-on job. That's the big one that's going to have done the damage to the car.
But the worry is, what has it done to the shell? You know, if they need a new shell, then they're going to have all sorts of problems.
And the engine block as well. You know, all of those are going to take a big pounding. Well, what about Ivan Muller, our reigning world champion? His car in the pit. Let's catch up with Citroën Racing's Yves Maton.
Yeah, well, I'm down here with Yves Maton. Hopefully, we can just have a quick word. Yves Maton, from your opinion, what happened there?
It's really difficult to say. It seems that they push each other, and Ivan got a little bit on the grass, and then he went off. But when you see the video, it's very difficult to say for the moment. We need to see the inboard camera.
And you think when he came back on, do you think that he nudged somebody on the way back on? You think he maybe hit someone?
From what we see on the door, it seems that there are some tires on the doors, and I think yes.
And tell me about the damage to the car.
We changed front bumper and the wishbones from the right side completely. It seems it will be okay to restart in 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, they're confident. I'm, you know, endlessly confident about Rally Mechanics' ability to fix anything in no matter how small a time period. You've already got the tyre warmers on. They're ready to rock and roll. He will have to start at the back of the train in the safety car. Now, let's have a look at here. Borkovic is off. Chilton's got right rear damage. Borkovic couldn't steer, and so went straight off into the barriers there. Now, that's where we picked that up out of the first chicane on the first lap. So again, it's entirely possible that there was contact between the two of them. I think now with the race suspended, Andy, Mirek is going to try and get everything back, everything out of the way, and everybody ready to go before we go. Again, we've actually got a really busy programme here as well. We've got Seat Leon on Euro Cup, we've got Abarth Challenge, we've got European Touring Car Cup want to race later as well. The good news is it's a bright sunny day, so actually it's not going to get dark earlier than it should do. However, got a lot to get through.
Yeah, and I've been very impressed with the recovery here. It looks fast, and you know, the circuit organisers seem to be doing a really good job. So, you know, some tracks you go to just take so long to clear the cars off the track, but they seem to have a very good infrastructure here. So that's good news for us as well up here in the commentary box. You know, we want to see a race fairly soon.
We're going to have to start singing soon because we've got not much else to talk about. Well, you know, they've been racing here since 1969, so it's like going to Brands or Alton Park or whatever. They've been doing it since almost before you were born. So when you turn up and there's an incident, okay, we've seen that before. We know how to deal with that. You know, it's like going to Monaco. There's nothing you can do in Monaco that somebody hasn't already made that mistake, and they know how to clear it up fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see the resemblances to Brands Hatch. I mean, the weather's very similar here today as we would get at Brands Hatch. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Martin. And, you know, it's important to have that when you're bringing international race events to circuits. You need quick recovery, good circuit safety, and the fans want to see a great race. And I'm really pleased to see so many fans out here today. And I remember my races in World Touring Car. Sometimes you get 100,000 at Porto, and you'd see a great 50,000 at Brno. And I would say we've brought out a very good crowd here today, and lots of fans. There's a great atmosphere, and yeah, it's a beautiful place to be watching as well.
Packed into the circuit and high on the hillsides. The farmers rent out their fields as well, not just for parking, but for camping and for sitting out in the sunshine. You know, it's a much lower than the valleys around Brands, but you know, going out and sitting in the sunshine and watching racing from Dingle Dell was one of the great things I did when I got the chance to. And sitting out on the hillside here, watching the world go by, must just be a wonderful way to spend an afternoon.
And this is what I love about historic circuits like Brands Hatch, you know, like the Salzburgring here, like the Nürburgring. These tracks have got an atmosphere, they've got a history. You can feel the energy when you walk into Monza. You can feel the place has history, and you know, these sort of historic racetracks, you know, you've got to park yourself on a bank and have all sorts of fun rolling down the hill.
That looks like fun. We should go and get into that.
Absolutely. That looks a bit like you on the way home from the pub last night, Martin.
You know, what stays in Salzburg. And you're discovering exactly the same thing. You know, you're racing now in United Sports Car Series, and you're at the Glen last week, Watkins Glen, you know, another historic circuit, and there is atmosphere, and you know, everything is of an age. It's not brand new and pristine and clinical, and you just know, you know, the kind of struggles and battles and races that have gone on before, and you feel part of it.
You do, yeah. It lives in the trees, it lives in the forest, you know, it lives in the road. It's an energy that you can't describe, really. You have to visit these places, and Watkins Glen is just one hell of a track. I was there testing the last 2 days, and it was just an amazing place. You know, when you arrive in these little towns, and you know, you see all the history, and of course, you know, we lost an absolute legend in Sir Jack Brabham, you know, this week, and you know, to see his name etched in the tarmac, you know, driving into Watkins Glen was real emotional for me. And you know, and you go to Imola and you see the likes of Senna and his monument there, and you know, this is history. And I think Salzburgring is, you know, one of those great tracks, and a good friend of mine, Mick Doohan, put it as one of his most favourite circuits in motorbike racing. I mean, those guys must have been really brave to race around here on a motorbike. You know, no runoff and long, fast straights. But you know, as a driver, you do take in the scenery. I love a racetrack on the Monday morning when everyone's gone home and you've done your job and you're happy to be leaving the paddock, or of a Sunday night, and you know, you just have those nice feelings when you're driving out. The sun is setting and you've got this beautiful circuit to look at on the way out. It's a great honour for a racing driver to be able to experience those emotions.
Yeah, we're very fortunate we get to travel to a lot of wonderful places and see a lot of wonderful things, and there's always a little bit of time if you can make it to go and enjoy that. We can see the tyre marks from the two larders crossing over in some sort of bizarre red arrows formation and damage on barriers on both sides, but it will take the rest of the day to dig out the posts and to reset them and so on. So we're going to have to go. In the white shirt, they're just walking over the yellow paint. That's Alan Gow. Now, he's the FIA's touring car commissioner, so he is essentially in charge of all FIA touring car championships, and of course he's also the man behind TOCA. So racing fans and racing gaming fans, the TOCA series of games brought British touring car action to a global audience, and a hugely successful franchise. So he still runs the British Touring Car Championship. It's the biggest grids in its history this year. You know, a championship's going strength to strength. So now he's really focusing his attentions on the World Touring Car Championship to try and help to maintain and the integrity and the prestige of the championship, and bring in more cars, more manufacturers, more excitement for the fans and for the drivers, of course, because, you know, to a degree you judge your job and your life, the people that you work with and the people that you know, compete against and work against, and being part of a top championship is part of what being a driver's about.
It is, and you know, to have somebody like Alan Gow around here observing, watching, I mean, what he's done with the British Touring Car Championship is absolutely amazing. It's a tremendous series, brilliant grids, brilliant racing, and you know, he's been through it all, from the Super Touring Car days to, you know, dealing with factory and major manufacturers to the situation he has now, and it's great to have him here observing.
Absolutely. Well, let's get down to Ben, who's with Pachito Lopez.
Our championship leader going into this race was Pachito Lopez, and Pachito, a very, very hectic start for you. Did you know what was going on behind you?
No, to be honest, I just saw the red light after turn 5. After when we went through the straight, I saw the two ladders, and later on my engineer informed me about Evans as well.
You have a little bit of rubber mark on your rear right-hand corner. Are you aware that there was maybe a little contact between you and your teammate? I
didn't feel any contact in the start. I'm knowing now from you. I couldn't see the car, but it's so narrow, the straight. I was just keeping my line. You know, to be honest, I don't know what happened to Ivan. I just was trying to avoid the cars inside, and I just brake in the first corner, and there was some moment with the cars in the front. But yes, you know, in the past we have seen in this track some difficult starts. It's a very narrow straight, and it's going to really like a cone in the first corner, so it's very difficult.
So thinking now, resetting your brain with a few of your rivals out of the way, especially your championship rival, Ivan, how will you approach this race now?
I just will try to do my best again. I don't like to celebrate when something happened to another. You know, it's a very, you know, it's a very shame for the team. I will try to do my best and finish the race.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So Jose Maria Lopez, definitely from his onboard, no sign of actual contact with Ivan Muller. As you said, I mean, you can see how much on the left-hand side the circuit narrows. That's a full car width. It goes from being like 4 cars width to suddenly 3 cars width, and everybody then is squeezed, having spread out on the grid, and so you've got to find your own little bit of space. And Andy, one thing that you can't teach a driver is that spatial awareness, and yet it is so key to surviving in traffic.
It is, and you know, as the season develops, you know, can you imagine going to Macau? You know, 4 years in a row I went to Macau with a chance to win the championship, and you've got to get through Lisboa, you know, and you've got to have that awareness. You're right, and you know, Ivan's proved he's had that awareness, and unfortunately, what happened there was a racing incident. I really like Lopez's style. He's, you know, I've met him today for the first time. He's a really humble guy. But, you know, he has stretched, probably given himself a great opportunity there to move forward in the championship. But it's still, you know, he's a really intelligent driver, and absolutely for sure what happened there was a race incident. The road narrows, you've got, you know, 10 cars trying to all fight over the same spot, and also, you know, the Hondas didn't have a brilliant getaway, and the Citroens were really, really strong off the start, so suddenly everybody jumped forward, and then you end up, you know, with drivers changing their line, and it's just about instinct at that point. And Ivan was just an innocent bystander there, and he can't lift, you know, he's got to try and get past, so you know, that's what happens when the pressure's on for race 2.
Well, when he got on the grass, he even had to get on the brakes, but even so, there was just not enough for him. Well, you could see Ben down there with Tom Coronel. He'll restart in 6th.
Back on the grid with our podium race 1, second position. Tom, it was a very big fight in race 1, but even trickier already in race 2.
Yeah, you could see some people were a little bit hot, but it seems like quite difficult with 4 Hondas in front. Of course, I suppose they will protect. But, you know, at the end of the race, some people have difficulties with the left front tire, so I think we have a chance there. Just the problem is we're not making a standard start now. We're driving behind the safety car at the start, and just the last 2 starts were brilliant because I overtook a lot of people. So, but that's the way it is.
Were you aware of anything going on behind you?
No. If you don't mind, I look forward. I didn't see what was happening behind me. Completely nothing.
That was a stupid question. So, fighting with the Citroens in race 1, do you think you have the pace to overtake some of the Hondas in race 2?
Yeah, we saw that. The Hondas had small difficulties. They were about 4 or 5 tenths slower than us. So as long as we can challenge, we can maybe push them in a little mistake and then be there and overtake them. But, you know, I can just tell you after the race if it worked out, but in my mind it's like this.
Tom, make a show for us.
Thank you.
Tom, make a show? Seems unlikely to me. I don't think that's ever happened before, is it?
I mean, he's hilarious. You know, there'll be a big grin on there. He's got more teeth than a Ferrari gearbox, you know, when he smiles. And he's just a funny guy, but just loves his racing. And really pleased to see him on the grid. I'm really pleased to see Roberto Rivaglia there as well, still running the team. And it was great to bump into him, 1987 World Touring Car Champion. And there's lots of great people in the paddock. And it's so nice to see everybody. Ivan jumping out the car. Right. What's going on
now
there?
Ivan is out of the car. Looks like the car is ready to go. We've been told that we're going to get a restart at 2:17, but Ivan, 2 minutes to go, is walking away from the car and saying, okay, forget that. Now, is that because they have been told that the pit lane will not open until after the race has restarted, in which case they will all go round for another lap, and then the race will start, and then he could join at the back, which would put him a lap behind? I think that's possibly what they're saying, or they have found something else on the laptops that says, don't think you ought to be running this car right now. Whatever, that is a big blow for Ivan, who clawed his way back towards the championship leader this morning.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed.
Well, let's see if we can get Ben or Alex down there. Alex Legui is right there. Marie-Pierre, the PR girl on the left, just saying, give us a couple of minutes. So Alex is there. We will hopefully get a word with Ivan before we get the race back underway. They're going to have to do a lap behind the safety car, and Andy Priaulx, that means that they will fall in line astern. So any chance of getting a great getaway has sort of gone.
Yeah, but you're going to try and get the jump, aren't you, on the restart? And, you know, there's going to be a few guys trying to outbrake each other into turn one. It is less of an opportunity, and that is a shame. But Gabrielli has got a big smile on his face because now he has no proper start to worry about. So, yeah, it's all sort of working in his favour at the moment.
And not only that, he has 3 Hondas behind him, including teammate Thiago Monteiro, Norbert Michelis and Mehdi Benani. So they're second, third and fourth before we even get to the first of the Citroën. So there is that wall of defence. Not that they're going to be defending Gabrielli's lead, they're going to be defending their own position. They don't want to let Lopez by. So Jose Maria Lopez, to get to the leader, has got a lot of leapfrogging to do up the queue.
Poor old Ivan, he's had a bad luck run so far this year with Marrakesh and today again here. So it's disappointing to see. But, you know, remember race 1, we had Coronel and Lopez. Lopez was behind, Coronel was ahead. Now it's the reverse. So I think Lopez will be slightly faster, but he's got Benani ahead of him, who's going to make that car very wide. And I'm sure Tommy, being the opportunistic guy that he is, will have a go at putting it up the inside at some point. And then Loeb and Morbidelli, that's going to be an interesting battle. Let's see what the Hondas do, though, Martin, here with Tarquini, their #1 guy, and Monteiro at the front there. Let's see what they can pull off in this race. I think it's going to mean that all the grid's going to be quite bunched up because Honda's slower and Citroën's faster, which is great. And
we now only have 15 healthy cars. So no Tom Chilton on the back of the grid, no Dusan Borkovic. Ivan Muller has pulled out, so 14 healthy cars. And the deal is that Ivan would have been stuck in the pit lane until the race went green. So this formation lap behind the safety car would have put him a lap down, and that is why they have taken him out of the way. First of all, he couldn't possibly compete. He's not going to pass anybody from a lap behind, even on this track. And secondly, all that could possibly happen would be bad.
Well, that's
Nothing
right.
good could come of it.
I mean, you know, that's what I was worried about, actually. You know, you bolted the car together, you're arriving in turn 9, absolutely flat out, something breaks, and then you've got Moscow in 2 weeks' time. So it's a wise decision, annoying for Ivan. I can only, you know, I can feel his pain. I know what it's like. I've been there. He's going to be watching the race, and he's going to be seeing Lopez score a nice chunk of points. But, you know, job's not done yet. He's still got to get through the race. There's still, what, you know, 14 laps to go. So still plenty of action to be had here in Salzburgring, that's for sure.
Now, I'm not sure about the lap count. As far as I make it, they only went from the grid and got back to the grid. I think this is the start of lap 2, not of lap 3. The total lap count will be correct. You can add up to 2 laps for the safety car. So, in fact, this should be lap 2 of 16, not lap 3 of 17.
Martin, you're a mine of information, as always. You must absolutely sleep with that rule book under your pillow.
Some of it's useful, and sometimes, just very occasionally, it's right. I think they, as you said, they didn't pass the start line once, so they did as they came to the grid. So this is now lap 2 of 16, and hopefully in MST we will get that changed. I'm sure they're working on it. You just have to persuade the computer that it's counting as wrong, and as we know, that's not easy.
No, absolutely. Computers. Computer says no.
Yeah, computer says 17. After a dramatic start line crash that has taken out 2 of the Ladas and world champion Ivan Muller, with a couple of other cars signed line 2, we are getting ready to restart round 10 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship here in Salzburg in Austria. Hondas 1, 2, 3 and 4 behind the safety car. Bruno Correa went out this morning with Andy Priaulx to show him the circuit. Now he's back to his day job, which is controlling things at the start of this race. There is Roberto Valli on the left. His damaged hip is healing. He's still on sticks, but he is getting better. 1987 World Touring Car Champion and Andy Priaulx's direct predecessor. There was only about a decade, 2 decades between your 2 World Championship titles. So here is Thiago Monteiro looking back from our race leader, Gabriele Tarquini. Thiago's friends and family here as well, or friends certainly, as we get ready to restart. They will go green this time.
Monteiro's left the space to give Tarquini some breathing space. Very nice of him. Thank you very much, Thiago. Good job.
I think Gabriele has got away fast, hasn't he? Thiago Monteiro, Norbert Michelis, Mehdi Benani next up. Then Jose Maria Lopez, the first of the Citroëns. And then it is Tom Coronel. Now, no silly sausages into the chicane this time round, please. Everybody funnels through nice and neatly. Remaining Lada, Mikhail Kozlowski ahead of Hugo Vallant.
So, you know, Michelis is looking a bit racy there behind Thiago. Obviously, he won't want to take out the Works Honda, driving a Honda at the moment. Let's see what he can achieve. I think the two Citroens, obviously Loeb and Lopez got through turn one nice and smoothly, so no problems there. Let's see how much they can reel, you know, Bernani and Michelis in now over the next few laps.
Valente passes Kozlowski's Red Larder for 9th place. Kozlowski now 10th, still in the points. Behind him, up to 11th place, has come René Munich's black Chevrolet, ahead of John Philippe's Seat that leads the TC2 class, but it is Honda, and then Jose Maria Lopez in 5th. Coronel in 6th has got Sebastian Loeb all over the back of his Chevrolet. Looking back from Tom's car, and then there's Gianni Morbidelli. He's the car shadowing Sebastian Loeb, so car 9, car 10 right together.
And that was the quickest car in qualifying. So, you know, Johnny didn't seem to go forward in race 1, but maybe something wasn't right with the tyre or whatever, we don't know. But, you know, he's looking racy, and Loeb's going to have to defend quite hard here. Let's see what Tommy can do with Lopez. I spoke to all the drivers before this race, and they are able to follow, we discussed before, so, you know, my fingers are crossed that we can see some overtaking here.
Well, Morbidelli's just set the fastest race lap, not surprising considering he is 8th in a queue of cars, and every car gives him a little bit more of a tow, so he's getting hoovered up onto the back of the train. Of course, catching and passing, Andy, as we always say in racing, are very different skills.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously got that major overtaking place in turn 9 or turn 10, but you've got turn 9, which is really on the edge. And we're looking now, he's going outside here. Now, that would be...
Lopez on Bernani, that'll be for 4th place. He's going to get it done. He's got the speed. He's got the speed. Got by him into the braking area.
Yeah. He just drove past there, basically, took the slipstream and just had more power, but it'll get tougher. It'll get tougher as he gets closer to the front, and hopefully, you know, we can see Bernani re-challenging him. Let's see, but Seb Loeb's got his mirrors full at the moment with Morbidelli, and Sector 2, that car was very strong in qualifying, so, you know, Morbidelli could probably squeeze by.
Morbidelli, fastest man on track last time out. Incidentally, Lopez, the overshoot at the first chicane in race 1. I talked to him, I said, was that driver error? Was that brake balance? Did you, like, shift the brakes too much to the front? He said, no, it was tyre wear. The tyres just gave up under braking there. It was just a little bit more than I was expecting in terms of wear. So he's learned that lesson. You know, every time you go out in a car, Andy, no matter how intimately familiar you are, like with your RBM BMW, you learn something every time you start the engine.
And he probably braked only a metre or so later, or at the same point, and that's just a split second. You know, when you're arriving at these braking zones at 250 k's, you haven't got, you've got a very small margin. Monza's very tough, and here we've got Morbidelli challenging Loeb, and he's going to have him for the inside, for the very fast right. Let's see how this unfolds.
Outside, inside. Morbidelli's doing it the old-fashioned way. He's put his nose on the inside, and Loeb will have to go around the outside. And there on Michelis for 3rd place goes Lopez. He's gone by, and that was the deal when he got by Bernani so easily, as Coronel now is getting by Bernani, or trying to. Lopez then knew, OK, I can pass a Honda in a straight line. Now the other 3 cars in front of him are all Hondas. OK, Tarquini's not easy to pass, but it means he's got the mechanical advantage.
He has. Let's see how he gets on with Gabrielli. You know, as the race unfolds, the tyre degradation is going to be higher. That gives you less chance to change your line. But I'm surprised to see the straight line speed of the Citroen up the hill and out of 5, because yesterday I didn't see that, so maybe they've trimmed the aero a bit more.
I think they might well have trimmed the wing off. Starting at the back or at the bottom of the top 10 in race 2, you know you're going to have to be passing, you know you're going to have to be slippery.
Absolutely, and you've got Ivan watching this unfold there in the pits, obviously seeing Lopez maybe challenging for a win. And Loeb's getting shuffled back a little bit. Obviously, he's been passed by Morbidelli, and this is the sort of part of the learning experience. We know he's an exceptional talent, and we know how quick he is. You know, once you're out there racing, it's a little bit different.
And the other thing we're finding here is, like last year and the year before, the Chevrolet is a quick car through the air on this high-speed track. So they've got to be looking at Spa, rubbing their hands with Lee, going, whoa, I think I'm going to like that. There is our TC2 leader, Franz Hengstler, winner in race 1. He's leading the class now in race 2 from John Philippi. And Lopez trying to go around Montero. Now, Montero second and third in the 2 races in Hungary. Okay, easier track to defend on, but he, like Gabrielli, knows how to defend, so it's going to be a tough pass for Lopez.
You know, the more he can defend, the more Gabrielli can get away. And there's a big queue of cars behind Montero. This is going to kick off, I'm sure of it.
Gabriele Tarquini leads here, 7 laps completed.
And Lopez is going to have a look up the inside here.
Lopez, the silver grey nose of his Citroen, looking inside Thiago Montero, but not able to do anything and under braking. Norbert Michelisz, Andy Priaulx, the black car offline there. That was defensive on Coronel rather than aggressive against Lopez.
Yeah, it's a fine line between being over-defensive and losing exit speed and just covering your base. And this is a crucial corner, Martin. Turn 5, coming out of here strong, getting a good exit and making sure you position the car well to defend going into turn 9. Because the guy behind is going to have 1 or 2 Ks on you right now.
Now, I noticed how much Coronel caught up on Michelisz in front of him, and Morbidelli on Bernani as well. Now, here comes Lopez. He's going to drive around Thiago. He's got half a kilometre still to make the pass.
That's done. That's pure straight line speed. Nice, easy move there, and nicely executed.
And behind Morbidelli on Bernani, I knew he was shaping up for the move. He didn't quite have the overlap there, and Coronel couldn't quite get past the black car in front of him of Michelisz. But both Chevrolets, look at that! He said after winning his race in Hungary, I'm an old-fashioned driver, I drive the old-fashioned way.
There you go.
That's the old-fashioned way. That is cojones, all the way around the outside of 9 and 10.
Do you know what? I love to hear that. The old driver, driving the old-fashioned way and making it work. Isn't that nice?
Well, right foot braking, all of that. He said, I can't do with all these beep buttons on the steering wheel.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, modern motor racing is run by a laptop nowadays, but we want to see the human side back into the sport, and that's what's happening here, which is great.
Morbidelli carving his way through the field, very much the human side there. That is old-fashioned racing now. And we talked about it, didn't we? You know, being Italian, having raced a lot of his time, you know, in and out of different cars in Monza and places like that, Imola, he knows how to use the air. And right behind him, Loeb is trying to capitalise as well.
I think Loeb's struggling a bit, actually, Martin. I don't know whether he's, you know, ideally happy with the balance of his car, or I'd like to have seen a few moves right now, because I think, you know, he's going to drop back and Lopez has gone forward. You know, he's lining him up now, so he's got a chance to, I think, you know, have a good go into turn 9. But what's been working for Lopez is the draft in and around the outside, which puts him on the ideal line for turn 9.
Well, Lopez going up the inside there. Coronel just allows Michelisz to get a little in front of him, and through goes Loeb. He's past Bernani, so Loeb now up to 7th place, Morbidelli in 6th. And there is Coronel in 5th, the blue and red and white car, desperately trying to get by Norbert Michelisz. Michelisz in 4th place.
And, you know, you're going to see Morbidelli, who was the quickest guy in qualifying, right up behind Tommy very shortly.
And here comes Sebastian Loeb on the inside. No problems at all. So Tarquini leads, and the gap to Lopez now down to just over half a second. And Lopez, a lap ago, was behind Thiago Montero in 3rd, that far back.
I think it's a matter of time now, unfortunately, for Gabrielli, because he just doesn't have this top speed to defend Lopez into turn 9. So it's going to be a matter of time before he picks him off. Gabrielli's not an easy guy to pass, though. So this will be Lopez's introduction to touring car racing, I would say, in WTCC.
Spoken as a man who still owes Gabrielli one from your involvement in the championship. Rennie Munich outbreaking himself there. Now, of course, one thing that we know about slipstreaming is the guy behind gets a speed advantage. What it actually does is slows down the car in front as well. So last lap, 7/10 of a second quicker Lopez at 23.8 to 24.5. Tarquini's previous lap was faster than a 24.5, but having Lopez dragging him back slowed him down by 2-3 tenths as Lopez picked up to a 3 tenths.
Yeah, I mean, if Lopez wanted to help him, he'd just get right up his bumper and push him along a bit. But what he's going to do is place his left front wheel or his right front wheel right behind the back of Tarquini's car, and just, it's like applying the brake, basically, and he'll execute the move.
But I talked to Tom Coronel. He said when we were on the straight and one of the Citroens pulled out to pass him, he said, it's like I hit the brakes. Suddenly my car was going backwards.
It will, yeah. I mean, you just imagine if they were driving through water, you'd have this big wave, bow wave, and that's basically what you've got. You've got the air rushing out, and then you've obviously got your car producing more air, and it just slows down the car in front. And you're disturbing his air, and it's just literally like, oh, somebody's run wide there.
Yeah, that's Coronel. That's
Tommy.
on the gravel that René Munich left.
Okay, and that means that Morbidelli's going to slip through,
Yes,
which
he
he's
is.
done, which means
Morbidelli found a clean bit of track.
he's going to have Mikolic. Oh, Tommy's coming back. Oh, a little nudge. That's
oh, Tommy, come
what
on.
you call a love tap.
That's a little bit naughty. Safety car is out. Yellow flags will be waving down the straight. The question is, with Morbidelli and Coronel, who's in front? Gianni's not going to give up. He'll argue it afterwards. Maybe on the radio, his engineer has said to him, Dominic Greiner, OK, Gianni, I think Tom was in front when the safety car board came out.
Well,
there's probably a bit degree of pointing and waving. Go, you go. No, 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 you go. Because neither of them want a penalty.
Yeah, you're right. He's had to drop back behind Tommy, but yeah, I mean, Tommy did well there because he just nudged Gianni Morbidelli just enough to sneak up the inside, and there you go, safety car. So he was a little bit lucky. So that's obviously to clean up the gravel in turn 1 on the exit there, which is a good move.
A lap late, perhaps.
There will be some discussion in the stewards' room after this because Johnny had he was ahead, and obviously Tommy touched him and got past, so he's benefited from that. I mean, that's touring car racing, but there's going to be a big discussion about who was ahead when the safety car came out, and that'll be decided in the stewards' room. Yeah. Which I don't have to do tonight. I can go home and leave the guys to all their troubles there.
And that's where the gravel came from, the front splitter of René Munich's car, just digging it and spreading it like half a dozen navvies with shovels all over the track. So second safety car of the race, and our track workers here sweeping furiously. They'll wait for the queue to go by and then continue to sweep a little bit more. But I think maybe this might just be a single lap behind the safety car. Replay of the incident between Tom Coronel and Gianni Morbidelli. A little bit of contact, two cars using the same bit of track. Andy Priaulx, all's fair in love, war and touring cars?
That was fair, that was opportunistic. I think Johnny should have covered his line a bit more, but it's hard, you don't want to sweep across the nose of the guy in front. Tommy, there's not a lot he could have done. He wasn't going to make it easy for Morbidelli, and Tommy wasn't really able to avoid that, so that's a racing incident. Tommy's run wide there on the gravel, so that was unfortunate as well. But I think that's all okay. I don't think there'll be any problems there with that.
Safety car out because of the gravel down there, or as Citroën Racing's tweet has it, marble, sand, dust and other things. It sounds like a small schoolboy has emptied his pockets on the track at turn. A couple of slugs and some stones and a bit of stick.
And it is like driving on ice when you hit those things.
Oh yes.
I had a big shunt at Le Mans because I hit gravel which wasn't identified, and you just lose the car basically. But listen, Martin, we've got Tarquini leading the race. He's worked tirelessly to get a little bit of breathing space on Lopez, and now he's got Lopez right over his rear bumper. So let's see how clever Tarquini is on the restart. You know, we try all sorts of tricks, weaving and then going, and you're not allowed to go and then stop, but you are allowed to catch the other driver off guard. So let's see what Tarquini manages to do. He's accelerated away, but Lopez has caught him.
Yeah, he waited to see Jose Maria weaving in his rear mirrors and then tried to nail it, but he can't.
Oh, he's slowing up. He realises that he hasn't got a good bit of breathing space now. So what he's going to do is he's going to leave it for as late as possible over the start-finish line. So therefore the guy, Lopez, doesn't benefit from a slipstream into turn 1.
So out of the final corner, Gabriele Tarquini not quite maintaining the 80km/h average. I don't know, maybe so. Here we go. He's going immediately, tries to race to the line. Jose Maria Lopez knew that was coming. They have a lot of rolling restarts in TC 2000 racing in Argentina, and Lopez with the quickest car in the field. Can he take the lead?
He's going to have a go, but he's not close enough, and Gabriele didn't even bother to defend. Now that's a bit of body language for you, just saying, I know you're not close enough, buddy, so...
I know you can score massive points here in front of your teammates, but if you come down the inside, neither of us are going to finish. That's what that was saying. OK, throw away the points if you like, but I'm not going to make it easy for you.
No, and Lopez has gone wide to get a better exit out of here. We know that Lopez has been strong in this particular stretch. Poor old Gabriele's a sitting duck here. He's going to get past, but you know, he's going to have to go around the outside if he wants to pass Gabriele, and here he goes. This is it. Look at this. Straight line speed.
Lopez uses the slipstream and the slingshot. Tarquini is going to be right behind him though towards the end of the race. You know, Andy, we said after qualifying yesterday, you can't win a championship with luck alone, but you do need fortune to be in your favour. If Arm didn't have it, Loeb hasn't got the pace here, and Lopez had 4 Hondas in front, which his car can get by. He's used all his ability. He's used what he's got. A little rub of the green always helps.
It does, and you know, it always helps when you're in the briefing afterwards, when you've won your race, and you're talking about what went wrong on the start as the race winner, with 25 big points in the bank. So, you know, he'll be going home pretty happy, and Ivan's going to be furious here.
Yeah, absolutely. He may not even be watching this. I think he might even be on the motorway by now. Lopez leads Tarquini and Montero, the 2 Hondas second and third. 2 more Hondas, fourth and sixth, seventh, eighth now, Banani, in fact. So Michelic is fourth, Coronel and Morbidelli. And Morbidelli's got Loeb behind him. There's Morbidelli in the black number 10. Loeb behind in the number 9 Citroen, having a look.
He's got more front grip on the way in, but barreled a bit too much speed in there and lost a few car lengths on the exit. But what's great, Martin, is the coverage we have here. We've got some great camera angles, and it's nice to be able to see almost the entire lap. So had some really good camera angles coming through turn 1 there. And here we are with Loeb, and as you can see, I think he's lost some time to Morbidelli.
Yeah, so he's dropped away. As you said, he's just got in a little too hot in the Mallory Park hairpin style Knockstein corner at the end of the front straight, and just didn't get it. I mean, that corner is so important for drive for the next kilometre of flat-out track. Into turn 9 and then the tightening turn 10. Coronel behind Michelic, still trying to get by him for 4th place. Tom, don't forget, second in race 1. And look at Morbidelli's car there, cocking the inside wheel in the air, unladen under braking.
Got some damage though on the left rear. I don't think that'll cause him too much trouble, but he's had a little bit of a knock there. Yeah, I mean, Morbidelli's going to want to get Tommy. He's going to be furious.
Franz Hensler throwing the BMW around with continued aplomb, well clear of his rivals in the TC2 field.
Yeah.
John Filippi behind him and Pasquale Di Sabatino in 3rd place.
Yeah, and you look at Franz, I mean, you know, he's driving that car well. He used all the road on the exit there, his full commitment. He's having his own big race there, and it's lovely to see him still pounding around. Yeah,
again, as we said yesterday, until he retires, you're not even allowed to think about it. So you've got to keep going. Lopez leads, and half a second clear of Tarquini. Tarquini similarly clear of Montero, who was kicking up the dust there.
I think that was Loeb exiting turn 5 and just ran a little bit wide. Here he is trying to draw back on. I wonder if we can stay here and just see him gaining and gaining and gaining. Not quite, but you know, as you get faster and faster, the drag increases, and then you benefit more and more from the slipstream.
The man on the move might be Tom Coronel in that red, white and blue Roal Chevrolet. Still struggling to say Roal Chevrolet. I have to think that instead of Roal BMW.
Yeah,
so I've been saying RBM Chevrolet would it would take some time to make it work.
I'm really sad, you know, to see Roberto without a BMW. It doesn't seem right. It's not right to not have a BMW here, but yeah, to see him still in the championship is great. And obviously, Tommy had a fantastic year with him last year, and for them to stay together is really good to see. But yeah, Lopez pulling away.
Board with Tom Coronel, an ultimate lap of the race. Coronel still trying to shape up a pass on Norbert Michelic. And he's going to have to get Norby to make a mistake, because the Honda driver is just ignoring the rearview mirror, just as Tom said to Ben earlier, so if you don't mind, I'll just look through the front screen and carry on. And that's the best way to defend, is to attack the track in front of you and let the guy behind somehow try and find a way around the long way.
Absolutely. You know, if someone's going to pass you, I've always said to my son who's been karting today, make them go around the outside of you, and you know, that's what we're all going to have to do here. But you know, Martin, I think it's been really great to be here in the commentary and see World Touring Car. I think this track hasn't probably given us the best opportunity to show the racing, and I think maybe we should consider something like a push to past in the future with this in this formula. What do you reckon about that?
Well, that would be entertaining. If you only got 2 or 3 shots of it as well, you'd have to be very careful about when you used it, so you didn't leave yourself open to attack from behind later in the race. But yeah, that would be entertaining. I have to say, we're going to Moscow in 2 weeks' time. That's usually good for pretty close racing. But I cannot wait to see these cars on the long Grand Prix circuit at Spa-Francorchamps. And then later in the season, going to the full Grand Prix circuit at Suzuka. Can you imagine?
I'm very jealous.
Epic.
Very jealous.
Epic.
I mean, Spa, I love Spa. I mean, brought up with that racetrack with RBM, and I've spent many beautiful days testing around that fantastic circuit, and Eau Rouge in this car is going to be a lot of fun.
Bravery personified. It's going to be huge cojones. Anybody getting through there quicker than their rivals. Look at the inside from Sebastian Loeb. Last lap lunge on Gianni Morbidelli, who doesn't shut the door and make contact, but just make sure that there's not an easy exit for Loeb to come by him. Morbidelli was concentrating there on getting off the corner fast rather than defending the apex, and that was the way he stayed in front.
Yeah, and look at Tarquini. He's had a solid day in a car that's not suited to this circuit, and he's come away with the podium. He'll be quite happy.
Second and third for the two Hondas. You can't argue with that on the fastest track in the calendar. Jose Maria Lopez is going to win this from Tarquini and Montero in fourth, though.
Tommy's having a look. He's having a look, but it's not. He's going to go outside.
Has to go inside, outside.
And then you've got Morbidelli also sniffing up the inside there, but that's it. I think he's safe.
I think so. I think Norby has got it in the bag because Coronel can't find the room there. Out of the final corner comes Jose Maria Lopez. He's going to win again. Not quite the 50% record remaining intact that he had earlier in the season, but Lopez wins his, what now, fifth World Touring Car race of his career, of 12 or 11 starts. Because we lost one, didn't we, last time out? Tarquini in second place, Montero in third place, and Thiago, after two podiums in Hungary, will be pleased to be back on the top step again. And victory again for Franz Engstler in the TC2 class. 300 guests from sponsor Liquid Moly here. Whole host of family and friends just come across the border from Bavaria into Austria, and he will be very pleased with that.
Job's done.
Well, cars 4 and 27, which is Coronel, and 27, Filippi, under investigation, overtook under safety car. Okay, so John Filippi potentially looking at being dropped behind Pasquale Di Sabatino.
And 4 with obviously the incident with Tommy and Morbidelli.
Well, the timing screen says definitely 27. They might mean 77, but that's Rennie Munich, so that wouldn't be wrong. But it might be Coronel and Morbidelli. The Coronel thing is whether or not he should have got by Morbidelli. And the 27 thing, John Filippi, we didn't see, but that'll be in his battle with Franz Engstler and Pasquale Di Sabatino.
So Tommy's feeling the heat a bit, I think, trying to open up the cooling, or, oh no, he's playing around with the GoPro or something. Yeah. You know what Tommy's like, he's all about the TV, isn't he?
Recording his programmes for his RTL show, so he may well actually be talking on camera as he comes down into Parc Fermé. But Jose Maria Lopez doesn't have to worry about any of that. He wins again in the FIA World Touring Car Championship.
Then you see him running wide there, he's picking up all bits of rubber and just trying to add weight and, you know, trying to raise his ride heights and make sure that the car's going to be okay for scrutineering, because, you know, it just takes you to run a, you know, even half a kilo light, and put a few hundred grams and you're out. So picking up the tyre, you know, just gives you that extra bit of weight in the car, which gets you through scrutineering if it's needed.
Lopez now 41 ahead of Muller, who is still 4 ahead of Sebastian Loeb, even though Muller didn't score. Loeb in 7th place, so only got a few points. And those places changed after qualifying in race 1, where Muller won race 1 to jump in front of Loeb for the first time this year. But still, Jose Maria Lopez now, after 10 of our 24 races, has nearly a 2-race cushion over his teammates. Now, I'm not saying anything. We've still got 14 races to go. You know, that's...
Martin, this hurts me to see this. I went every race, last race of the year, with 9 drivers that could win, fighting for 1 point. And, you know, but, you know, you have to say well done to the Citroën guys. What a great job. And to Lopez. Brilliant, brilliant job.
Fabio Ravioli, the FIA media delegate down there in the white shirt. He'll be ready to whisk our top 3 off to the podium. And then to the press conference upstairs as Jose Maria Lopez celebrates another World Touring Car victory. After the first 3 meetings, including Argentina last year, his first ever race in the championship, he had a 50% winning record. He'd started 6 rounds, he'd won race 2 in each of the 3 race weekends he'd been in, so he had won 3 of his 6 ever starts. Now that has slipped a little. I think he's down to a sort of 40% winning margin, but all the same.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a solid act. I mean, he's come through all the single-seater background. He's, you know, he's tested in Formula 1. He's a professional driver and he's winning races. And well done to him. And, you know, the Citroën guys are going to love him. He's very humble. And yeah, poor old Ivan's going to be listening to all this and he's going to feel rotten.
Well, celebration with the two Honda drivers as Thiago and Gabriele congratulate each other on a job well done.
Yeah, I mean, Gabriele did a good job to finish P2 and Montero helped him as well. Good teamwork there.
Well, let's hear now from our race winner, Jose Maria Lopez Pechito, to his friends, his family, and especially to his fans. Winner here of round 10 in Salzburg.
Jose Pechito Lopez, congratulations, winner of race 2 here at Salzburg. That was quite a dramatic race, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, you know, after the first lap, I didn't understand anything. I just saw a lot of cars destroyed, and I think I was really lucky to go through the first chicane. I could pass some cars, and then we took a big risk, but we went very low with the wind. We knew we had to be very quick on the straight to pass anyone. And with the experience of the first race, we tried to do some things, and the car was working very well. Of course, you know, we've been lucky once again. Ivan didn't finish, but in the end, you know, it was a very nice winning, very good feeling. The car is great, so thanks to the team, thanks to Citroën. They allowed me to be in this fantastic team, and you know, I'm really emotive about it. I thanks to everybody, to my family. So I'm very happy. I think it's been a great race.
Pechito, it's great to have you. Well done.
That genuine emotion, isn't it? You know, he is the right man in the right place, and it all happened completely, you know, random with no pre-planning. His race in Argentina, Temas Los Rio Honda last year, he was asked by the Argentine Motorsport Association in the one race weekend he had in a run of 14 weekends. He had one weekend off, said, would you come and represent us in the World Touring Cars? And he took a look at the car, the Eurosport BMW, and he said, really, I don't know, you know, it's not that competitive. It's, you know, I'll be at the back of the field, and, you know, it's my only weekend off in 3 months. And they said, oh, we really need somebody. So he went, okay. Ended up winning the race, flagged himself up, and boy, here he is, leading the championship less than 6 months later. Well, let's get down to Gabriele Tarquini. He's with Ben.
Always very interesting to listen to the drivers discussing between the two of them. And Gabriele seems to have a small pain in his hand. Let's ask. Gabriele, congratulations, second in the race. Probably the maximum that you feel you could have done?
Yeah, I mean, after the first lap, I saw the first Citroën was fifth. I hope a little bit. I hope that the car behind me was more resistance. But when he reached me, I understood why they cannot resist. I mean, the difference in speed, acceleration is unbelievable. I mean, it's in a track like this, I mean, it's impossible to resist because he overtook me on the straight and took the best line before the corner 9, so it was no possible.
Enjoyed the podium, though.
Thank you.
I remember that feeling, Martin. Seat turbo diesel power passing a normally aspirated engine. And he was in the car, so don't feel sorry for him.
What goes around comes around. Let's hear from our TC2 winner, Franz Hengstler.
Yes, TC2 winner Franz Hengstler. Franz, you are on fire. You are an unstoppable force.
Great. Yeah. No, it's perfect. Really, my car was such a perfect car. We go 5-6 times faster than last year, and it was great balance. Thanks a lot to my team. He did a brilliant job, and also to my fans. We had such a lot of fans here. 300 liquid moly gas. Believe me, we make a big party tonight. Yeah.
Thanks to his team, of course. That's Franz Hengstler Motorsports, Team Hengstler.
Yep. Team Hengstler.
You know, he has been running his own cars, running cars for other champions across the globe for a decade and a half. He really knows what he's about with those BMWs, and he's going to enjoy that. This is the huge event of the season for Hengstler and Liquid Moly, and he's come out on top of the step with both trophies in his hands. A very, very happy bunny.
You know what? He deserves every single trophy, that man. He runs BMW dealership.
And that is how he will remember Salzburg 2014. Heading out onto the podium is Thiago Montero. In second place, Gabriele Tarquini. And our race winner, Thiago Montero, Jose Maria Lopez. Citroën Racing, their representative out on the podium. And France stepping up again to take the Yokohama Trophy. The anthem of our winning driver, Argentina's Jose Maria Lopez. And the anthem of our winning constructor, Citroën. Well, they're in good voice, the Citroën mechanics, and rightly so. They've got a lot of practice in singing that anthem so far this season. I can't see that coming to a halt too long. Well, Citroën with Ivan Muller winning race 1 and Jose Maria Lopez winning race 2. The fastest cars here in Salzburg. So trophies being presented to Thiago Montero. And Andy Priaulx, in the end, you know, you come here, you think, right, it's the fastest track. Citroën is the fastest car. There'll be 1, 2, 3 in both races. It was a long way from that, though.
It's getting closer. The weights hurt them today. The other guys have closed up. They had a test last week, and it's bunching up, which is good and very important for the championship.
Our race winner, though, Jose Maria Lopez, receives his trophy, lifts it aloft to the cheers of the team. They are going to have to start packing extra containers for trophies when they go to the flyaway races, because a lot of the stuff, you know, if you win in Japan, you get one of those great big samurai masks. That's not to go in the overhead locker. Easy for me to say.
Yeah, I remember those races in Japan. They were fantastic. And you get received so well over there, and it's so big, you know. World Touring Cars done very well out there, and it's very, very popular.
Absolutely right. So our top 3 have received their trophies, our winning manufacturer. And now for the Yokohama Trophy, Franz Hensler again receiving his trophy. Double race winning weekend. He's been racing here for 36 years and continues to enjoy coming to his first and his favourite track here in Salzburg in Austria. That was always pretty predictable. Team member in clothing they're going to have to wear for the rest of the day, and it's bottles of champagne.
Oh, it's a nice feeling.
Yes, it is.
And it's so nice to see, you know, Gabriele up there, Montero, you know, Hensler. I mean, those guys, I mean, I've been racing with spotty teenagers for the last 2 years, so it's nice to see a few golden oldies up there doing so well. You know, it gives me another 15, 20 years racing, which is great.
Exactly right, exactly right. Experience counts for an awful lot in this championship. Experience in the drivers, experience in the teams and the engineers. And yeah, the kids can stick to Formula Ford. We'll take the guys with a few miles under their belt, because you need that balance. 24 race championship, Andy, you've got to have that level head, that consistency that experience gives you.
Yeah, absolutely. You see it in NASCAR, you see it in sports car racing with Tom Christensen. You know, these guys are bringing the car home and taking the wins. They're still very, very fast. And Lopez has obviously, you know, extended his championship lead there with 41 points, and he's an experienced driver, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's been, you know, the highest level in single-seaters and raced in touring cars, so he's a class act and fully deserves to be there. But, yeah, absolutely, it's about the long game. And, you know, the young guys come in and they are very quick, but over the whole year, the established, experienced drivers have the edge when it comes to slipstreaming, when it comes to racing, when it comes to all the the politics, you know, and the crucial moments to just get past when you need to, and the experience comes through, especially in this Formula, Martin.
Yeah, absolutely. You need get-back-up ability, and that's what Lada are going to need in spades. With 2 of their cars wrecked in the first lap here, they've got a real hurry-up to try and fix them and get them to Moscow in time, because they need those cars on the grid at the Moscow Raceway 2 weeks from now. And so lots of work to be done